now 6 p.m. I'd like to call to order the March 15, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Chad Cleckler.
Here.
Daniel Turner.
Here.
David Wright. Cassie Hollinshead.
Here.
Tony Harris. And Amanda Kelly.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Y'all will please stand and join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Be with all of us now as we enter into this meeting. Guide us and direct us as we conduct business for the city of White House. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, that takes us to item D on our agenda, community interest.
Commissioners, the upcoming Saturday of March 26th is going to be a busy day around town. Keep White House Beautiful is hosting their annual trash off event, so if anyone is interested in doing some litter cleanup that day, I think Republic Services is going to be cooking lunch over in the park for those that are volunteering and participating. The RAC will be hosting opening day for baseball and softball on March 26th out at the sports complex. They're going to have all kinds of fun things to do out there, and it will also be the opening day for the farmers market at 109 East Main from 9 to noon on March 26th. So
Busy day.
it's a busy day.
Okay. Anybody got anything else? No? Okay, that takes us to item E, public forum. Do we have anyone who has?
No one signed in to speak.
Okay, so we don't have anybody who signed in to speak, so that will take us to item F, consideration of minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on February 15th, 2022.
So I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, that takes us to item G. 1, public hearing, discussion, consideration, and action on rezoning request for a 69.033 plus or minus acre tract of land located in the 1500 block of East Main Street in part of the J.M. Draper Survey A290 and the J. Heron Survey A-429 Smith County, Texas from residential low density to residential medium density plan development. Request of Cannon Land Development. Okay, can you give us some background on this, please?
Yes, sir. Give me just 1 second. I don't know what I did with all of my information. I didn't need that. I worked so hard on it too. Okay, apparently I did leave it somewhere. Okay, the developer, Canyon Land Development, has requested that this property be rezoned from residential low density to residential medium density plan development. The development would be a approximate 317 homes that would be divided into 3 different sections. I apologize. Give me 1 second to pull this out. This will help me a little bit. The eastern section would be the smallest lots of 3,900 square feet. That would be 94 houses. The middle section would be the largest of their lots at 6,600 square feet. That would be 121 homes. And then the western section would be their medium sized at 5,200 square feet.
and that would be 102 homes. They're asking for a 6-foot side setback throughout the community and a 12-foot side setback throughout the community as well. That's the wrong one. The front section is where they're asking for a 15-foot setback in the front and the rear. All of these dimensional requirements are provided for you in your report where you can see the difference between the residential low, which is the current, and then all of those sections, what the differences would be. Staff has worked with the developer to develop the plan development ordinance that just outlines the agreement between the city and Canaan Land Development. And tonight, either way, depending on what you do tonight, this will move forward to City Council at their meeting next Tuesday with your recommendation. So staff is seeking your recommendation tonight. And we do need to open a public hearing. This is a public hearing.
Okay. It is 6:06 p.m. I will close our regular meeting and open the public hearing at this time. Okay. Do we have anyone who signed in or anyone that would like to speak with regard to for or against this particular item on the agenda?
Well, got a question, do I need to sign in?
But you need to come forward.
You just need to come forward and just state your name and address.
Yes, James Fitzgerald, 1325 Hagan Road, obviously. This is gonna back up to our property. I'm just kinda curious how they can distinguish a medium density and not an extreme density, but they're talking about putting 317 homes basically behind my property. Are they even gonna be, 60 by 100 lots? What's gonna affect my property on the back side, and it just seems like it's not a medium density if that's how many homes they really wanna put on 60 acres.
Okay. So with the planned development, so you back up to the west portion of the property, is that correct?
I didn't bring my map,
You're on Hagan Road, he's gonna be just.
but basically, our property goes straight up and it branches out. I think we've got 13 point something acres,
Okay,
and their property backs up to our back fence line. So I'm just kinda curious, so we're gonna be looking at there's 317 homes, we're basically at the backside of our property. We're gonna be looking at a tract cookie cutter neighborhood. And what, are they gonna do any kind of improvement on the fencing going across the backside, so I don't have to see it?
Fencing, I don't believe would be required for that.
It's in the ordinance, it
It's in the
requires
ordinance for the
fencing.
privacy fence.
Yeah, privacy
Yes.
fencing
privacy fence.
for every lot.
For every
The
lot, I'm sorry,
unit that they're
for the whole
developing
development.
down on the end of Hagan, that housing tract, I noticed that the houses that are backed up to where they're gonna do commercial buildings or is a 10-foot fence, not an 8-foot. Is that something that, have they submitted any kind of logical fencing, what they're gonna do on that backside? Cause, I really don't wanna be looking out at 317 homes,
So what he's referring to is in Forestdale, so between commercial and residential zonings, we require 8-foot
At a minimum.
fencing. It's an
Minimum.
8-foot fence.
Oh, it's 8 foot, not 10?
Normal wood-foot fence, or is 6 foot, so we do require 8-foot between commercial and residential. They haven't addressed that here because there is no commercial as a part of this development.
That's right, because it's all residential.
It does say an 8-foot fence surrounds the property, so.
So they will be putting an 8-foot fence up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright. Those questions I had?
Okay.
I'm not seeing that in the,
That's not in the plan development ordinance.
in the
We need to
ordinance,
add
but
that.
it is in,
It's
it is in their
plan.
plan.
It's in their
We'll
plan.
add that. That's just around the front section though, I
Right,
believe.
that's around the front.
Okay.
That's
Not around the middle and the back. Right? Isn't that
That's
what
my
you said?
understanding.
So the red line would be 8-foot fencing,
6-foot fencing around that portion,
but everything else could be a standard 6-foot fence.
regular residential fencing.
So the red dotted line would be an 8-foot fence.
Yeah.
And it's, and their property is zoned low, not, estate.
I don't know, but I,
I think it's low density, not estate density.
What's the time frame on their construction process? Do they have anything once everything gets approved, or how they gonna be
He
doing it?
didn't say.
it's
He
not
didn't say.
certain.
They don't mind the donkey and a couple goats, do they? Cause we have a donkey and a couple goats.
If it's allowed, it's allowed.
It's
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
there will be an
They
HOA.
were
Yes.
part of the HOA.
Yes.
Okay. I can speak to some of this, I didn't have a chance to sign in or what, I'm Joe with Johnson and Pace.
Okay, that'll help.
That
And
helps
I've got the
tremendously.
presentation loaded. If you use that remote right there, it'll advance it.
I'm sorry, can you state your name for
It's
the,
been Joe Hart, H-A-R-T, of Johnson and Pace. And Brent would be here, but it's spring break and they're not able to, so. As kind of been described already, this, okay, 69 acre development. Broken into, they're kind of divided into 3 different sections where, the front section is, garden homes or townhomes. These are, hit the price point of about 200,000 or maybe a little more, depending on how the economy goes. These are about 1,400 square feet. These will be houses that the developer owns himself and maintain, and they're rented to where he will, that their company will keep all the lawns, all the planter beds, all the watering, and preserve mainly to preserve the integrity of the subdivision. Though they have a very strict process for selecting their tenants and have the right, if that tenant's not the right fit, then it'll be a very nice community and affordable to a family that hits that price point. These are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single story. The middle section is, mid 350 to mid 450 price range, and 1,600 to 2,700 square foot range on the houses. And then the back section is kind of starting at the upper 200,000 range, and they're 1,400 to 1,800 square foot. And altogether, this is well over $100 million investment altogether for the city. And I will provide as you know, a real need to the community. I'm here to answer any questions as far as this, sir,
I got one. Okay, so it's gonna back
I
straight up.
prefer not to do like a back and forth, so, yeah,
So-
you'll go through your presentation and then we can,
So the townhome or garden home area will have its own direct entrance off of Main Street. Boulevard, well landscaped and maintained. The fence that runs along 346, it's planned to be 8 foot tall with brick columns. And then where the next boulevard entrance, those brick columns, they'll continue on down the HOA area, heavily landscaped with trees, and just a really nice feel when you enter the subdivision. It's the part of another point, I guess, is industrial kind of commercial uses that are there fronting on 346. This will provide some buffer from that land use as you transition into the property. And I think it's a good fit, and we had a lot of a big need for the community. Really, the rest of these, I mean, they have, for the townhomes, they have several different elevations. It's not gonna be the exact same house, exact same color, differing the front elevations, different material selections, different colors, so that at least a person that has their own identity when they come to their house, and they're not living, you know, exactly like their neighbor. So, very, very restricted HOA. Very the deed restrictions and covenants will be, and really that's just to protect the integrity of the whole subdivision. The townhouse community will have its own separate HOA. It's a separate entity from the other HOA, which will be for the middle and back sections. And
So that's it that's all I have.
okay, so I just would be glad to answer any questions, or I can sit down and.
Is the front section, I know with that 8-foot privacy fence, is it gated separately?
No, they're not, it's not
It's
gated.
not gated
It's
at
not
all?
gated, no.
Okay,
They're all, the proposal is for public streets.
Okay.
Everything is a 60-foot right of way. Sidewalks on both sides of the road. The one request that I know is in your packet for the townhomes is the request to put the sidewalk against the curb, and then go into the 15-foot front setback. It still gives room for the garage door to be closed, a car is parked there, and they're not encroaching over the sidewalk.
over the sidewalk, okay.
And there'll be, it's a single car garage with a 2-car driveway. So it's 1 car per bedroom will be available if they need it.
Okay. Commissioner, do you have any additional questions?
I do not.
Okay,
I do not. no.
okay, all right. Okay, I don't have any additional
Thank you.
questions. Thank you. Okay,
Public hearing's still open, so if the other gentleman has more questions,
do
he's
you
more
have
welcome.
additional questions?
I was just gonna suggest maybe his developer should contact us, and he have a second opening, and he can come to the backside too. That's all.
I'll be open to that.
1325 acre road. 13.something acres.
Okay, so if we don't have any additional, I will, it is.
I have one question, I'm sorry. My name is Joanna Raspberry, I'm his letterman. How wide are the streets gonna be, and are they gonna be full curb and gutter, or is it gonna be the little slant curb and gutter?
There's 60-foot right-of-ways. Are they full curb and gutter? Yes.
Are they this, okay.
So normal standard
Normal
street
standard
width,
street width.
okay.
32 feet
I
back
know
to
over
back.
in the Willows or something, they did
No.
something small, stupid, that,
It meets our standard
This
street
makes
width.
our-
gotcha, okay, thank you.
All right, then it is now 6:19. I will close the public hearing and reopen our regular meeting. Okay, so we've got the packet that was provided to us with a lot of the information that was gone over, and we have a copy of the ordinance in our packet as well. Has anybody got any questions or for staff or anything with regard to the ordinance or the actual plan development itself?
I don't know if this is the right time to ask this, but do we know like what the impact would be on the school district?
The school district is aware of this proposal and feels that they have, they can adequately meet the needs.
Okay.
One thing I did not mention when I was introducing this, they have also offered for Hamilton Park Unit 2, that you guys recently approved their plat. They have agreed to put that section into their HOA with the, not with the front section, but with the middle and the back section. They'll include that all together with the HOA to take care of that creek area.
So
We'll
the-
rename it to Hamilton Meadows
Hamilton.
so that there's some
Yes.
consistency for those property
So
owners.
the HOA is gonna cover the drainage, but gonna give the streets to the city?
Correct.
That's what I thought I read.
And with the regular street width and all of that, then we don't have any concerns with regard to emergency services or anything like that.
No, sir. So fire and police have both seen this plan and are, understand that it meets all of our requirements.
Okay.
As far as street width goes.
As far as street width goes, okay. All right. Okay, anybody got any additional questions or anything?
I move to recommend, to city council the rezoning requests from residential low density to residential medium density plan development.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, that takes us to G2, which is discussion and action on site plan review for 106 through 110 East Main Retail Development, Main Street Retail Plaza.
Yes, sir. I apologize again for not having my prepared information for you, so please just bear with me as I try to go through this. This is a retail development that has been proposed to us. It is in Town Center Main Street zoning, therefore it, by the zoning ordinance, it has to go before this body to be approved for the site plan. The site plan is a part of the civil construction plans, which is being reviewed by staff and by our engineers at this point. We've had one round of comments go back and forth. We are still in the process of getting all of those comments resolved, but staff is, we're fairly sure that everything is going to be resolved satisfactorily. So at this point, we would recommend approval of this, contingent upon all of those comments being resolved satisfactorily. This does generally meet the requirements of Town Center Main Street.
Okay, I got a couple of questions. The driveway that goes out to Forest Creek, I believe on that map that, Susan, that you sent to us, I can see this well enough.
You want a bigger copy or?
It's a 24-foot driveway, is that back of curb to back of curb? Do we know?
I would make an assumption that it is, just by
Okay.
the way it's drawn, but I don't know that positively.
Okay, with, I guess my question with regard to that is within the context of our town center main street. I believe our drives are 25 foot, is that correct? And the only reason that I bring that up is, I think if they wanted to widen that driveway, it would be very easy by taking that drive just to the north, just a little bit. Because it appears that with their arrows that are on the east side of the building, they're planning on traffic traveling both ways.
Correct.
And I don't know if that's a sidewalk that's on the east side of the building or if that's a planter bed, but that road right there that's going around that side of that building is only 20 foot wide. And with the traffic coming through, what they, from the driveway plus traffic going in and out, kind of a blind corner, that gets pretty narrow going around the east side of that building would be my only concern, with that being only 20 foot right there, and then you have a driveway that's narrowed a little bit. I'm not near as concerned about the one that goes out onto 346, because that'll have to get approved through TxDOT. It'll have to go through them to, permit wise with regard to TxDOT.
And I believe they have that permit.
And they have that permit, okay. But being that that's one of our streets to the east, that would, just as just part of discussion as y'all are going back and forth, I just wanted to bring that. It's just the main thing that I noticed on this, because it does get pretty narrow on the east side of that building.
So am I understanding, are you requesting that be 25 feet instead of 24 feet?
Well, I think if I read that correctly,
That's what
our driveways, because it refers back to our driveway, I believe in that, on driveway, it refers us back to section 21.2.3.
feet.
25 foot. And I didn't know if it was, back of curb to back of curb, because if it's back of curb to back of curb, then you're taking an additional foot out of that driveway. Now we're at 23 foot, because that's a 6-inch, that'd be a 6-inch curb out there. Okay.
Chad, I kinda had the same comment in the flow around the building with that, cause you kinda have that blind corner there, so, I mean, I would go so far as to suggest having that one-way traffic with the drive-through and maybe loop around the building instead of having, or a stop sign, at the end of the drive-through or something to kinda keep that.
Yeah, it could be done just in pavement marking,
Yeah.
maybe a yield or something like that. I'm just afraid with that corner that, that's, and I didn't know if that was sidewalk on the east side or if that's a planter bed for us to meet our required,
I believe that's sidewalk.
is it sidewalk? So I don't know if we could, I didn't know if there was an entrance on that side of the building.
Yeah, I
Cause they had that parking on the north side, and I assumed that was for whatever's going in on that end of that building, that east end of that building. And I didn't know if there was an entrance on the east end of that building, and if not, then could they narrow that sidewalk down to widen that road just a little bit?
The sidewalk near, Forest?
On the east side of the building itself.
Little pie shape
That little
sidewalk.
pie-shaped sidewalk on the
Oh,
east side
that
of the building.
sidewalk. I'm
Yes.
sorry, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a sidewalk or if that was a planter bed. I couldn't really tell, cause it was hashed a little differently
It was
on
hashed
that
differently.
engineering drawing.
Mhm.
It was hashed different than what it was on the, for the concrete sidewalk aspect.
Well, it's hatched kinda like the curbs over there by the wheelchair, the
Which-
van accessible.
Right, which I was thinking that may be, rather than being in concrete, that might be, you're talking about the two on
Like a planner or
It's
something.
next to the van access, the little circles.
the little circles?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was thinking maybe that was a planter bed, and if so, could they narrow that planter bed on the east side down a little bit to give us a little bit more width on that road on that side? Cause 20 foot gets pretty, that's gonna get really narrow with two cars going through there.
And what's the traffic flow, like if you come in this driveway, can you go back here or can you only go up?
They show it only to where you could only go to the right.
So Susan
Oh,
sent
okay.
out an updated plan and it
Okay.
shows that,
I just printed the wrong one.
yeah, that drive, well, we didn't get it until later, so,
Okay,
coming
Got
out
it.
of that driveway would be one way.
yeah. So I would say go one way all the way around. Cause then you could, I mean, you have plenty of options to get out if you did that, but it's my suggestion.
Anyway, so in your discussions, either narrow if that is a planter bed to the east,
Narrow
either
that.
narrow that planter bed to widen that out to where that traffic could flow both ways. Or if we can't accomplish that, then we just need to determine what's going to happen on the east end of that building, traffic flow wise. I'm just,
And
with
address
that
the-
blind corner,
yeah,
I'm
the
just
blind
afraid
corner.
with that blind corner and I know it's on private property, and all of that kind of stuff, but, I just think maybe some thought needs to be put into that traffic flow going around the east end of the building. Okay. And if we can widen the driveway. Okay. Anybody got any other comments? Somebody looks like they're pondering.
Just doesn't seem like enough parking, but
Is it
but town,
commercial?
town center has lower parking requirements.
That is correct.
Just seems like very little parking for that square footage. So,
We calculated the parking off of this and of phase 2.
And off.
and the phase 2. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Anybody got any other comments? Okay. So,
I'll motion to conditionally approve the site plan for 106 to 110 East Main Street Retail Development, Main Street Retail Plaza.
Contingent upon, contingent upon satisfactory completion of all staff comments.
Second.
Being satisfactorily addressed.
Thank you.
Got it, yes ma'am.
okay. So we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, then that will take us to, item 3, discussion and action on site plan review for 105-1 Highway 110 North, Whataburger and Triple J's Convenience Store.
Yes, Commissioners, this is very similar to what we just discussed. This is a site plan that has to come before planning and zoning because it is over 1 acre of development, and it is, this particular site is zoned retail office high intensity. Obviously this use is allowed in that particular zoning. We do have this under review. Staff and engineers are reviewing this and have had comments go back and forth. Again, we are working through those comments, feel that we will be able to get all of those done satisfactorily. So staff at this point is recommending approval, again contingent upon satisfactorily handling all those comments that staff and engineers have regarding this site.
Okay. I noticed on the very front of the property, that property line offset, and it goes directly back to back of curb, and with the front setback then coming back into the property, into what is being developed. Is there, so they've got on the drawing, the front setback, the 25-foot front setback. And with that property line coming back, it's coming back to the back of curb in the middle of the development.
The
Is
property
there,
line.
Yeah, the curb is within the setback. And their concrete monument too.
Yeah, so
yeah,
TxDOT has a funny triangle piece of right-of-way,
okay.
which
so
is what that property setback is. The developer had asked TxDOT about vacating
Yeah.
that triangle, and either the process was too long or it wasn't a favorable response from TxDOT.
Okay,
So that's why that kind of funny triangle is there to begin with, but I see what you're talking about, that
Okay,
25
I do
foot
see that now.
front setback.
encroaches into what they're actually they're developing. Now, I mean, it's 60 foot from the back of the canopy to the back of curb, or face of curb, I believe on his, he did his measurements based upon face of curb. So it's 60 foot from the back side of the canopy, or the canopy that faces 110 for the gas pumps. I mean, that's 60 foot, and it's nothing but drive that's out there. So I just wanted to ask the question of why that property line went back there, but that makes sense if TxDOT's got something that for some reason they have a triangle cut out of the middle of the road.
Yeah.
So, and who knows? Yes, I understand, so. Okay.
On the back property line, is that a fence or a retaining wall? I can't really tell on the drawing.
It's a retaining wall.
It's a retaining wall.
Segmented,
Hard to see.
plus or minus
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
450
see that.
linear feet.
Gotcha.
Retaining wall. Okay.
The layout of this property will be similar to the Whataburger and Triple J's store in Chapel Hill.
Chapel
Clear with that one.
I don't have any additional questions. Does anybody else have any additional questions? This one seems to be fairly straightforward. So, nobody's got any, questions, I will entertain a motion.
I'll motion to conditionally approve the site plan for 1051 Highway 110 North, Whataburger and Triple J Convenience Store, contingent upon all staff and engineer comments being satisfactorily addressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Beautifully worded motion.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and then that takes us to item 4, discussion and action on site plan review for 200 East Main Street Scooters Coffee.
Yes, Commissioners, this will be very similar to the project we just discussed at 100 East Main Street. They are Town Center Main Street, so they will have the same type of regulations. Again, staff and engineers are working with the developers. Comments are going back and forth. We are sure that we're going to be able to get everything satisfactorily resolved with those comments, and we would recommend approval, again, contingent upon that actually happening.
One item to note, and I think, oh, it shows it, that each of the drives will be one way.
Yes.
So that was a request from TxDOT.
Okay.
Yes. And again, those, TxDOT has approved these at the widths that they are.
Okay,
I like the greenery in it. They've done a great job of. Are the bushes and the plants gonna match the park, or did they say?
That's on here what they are. So it looks like magnolias, crepe myrtles.
Oh, did it say-
Atlas,
did it say what they
Indian
were?
hawthorns.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. Yep.
Oh,
so, in a question, what about to the south of that? What are we doing with regard to, is it residential high to the south, or is that residential? Cause I know there's houses to the south,
there's,
Residential high.
it's,
it's
Is what it
residential.
shows on this plan.
and they are putting a fence.
Okay, alright. Sorry, I didn't ask that question previously on the,
Well, if it's within the zoning.
so, okay.
Is this the same Scooters Coffee that's like franchisable? Like if you Google?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they've indicated they're building 8 or 9 stores in the Tyler Longview area this year.
Okay. Alright. I don't have any questions with this one. I think they've done a pretty decent job showing their traffic flow, their landscaping. And it's such a small footprint of a building, I mean, their parking is, even though I think they've gone over and above on their parking, almost.
And that will be parking only for staff. There will not be, it's a
Drive-through.
Drive-through.
It's
drive-through
a
only.
drive-through only.
That's what I was wondering with this grass section right here.
Okay. Alright, I don't have any questions. Anybody have any? Okay, alright, well, I would entertain a motion on this one.
I'll motion to conditionally approve the site plan for 200 East Main, Scooters Coffee, contingent on all staff and engineer comments being satisfactorily addressed.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, then that takes us to item H, administrative reports.
And as y'all all saw, I did not have the report in the packet. We are changing the way we do our reports, and I've got to figure out how to actually be able to put it into your packet. But Leslie did provide a presentation for us tonight, and here on the screen is our numbers.
So commissioners, if you look at the end of the orange line on each of these and then the beginning of the green line, you will see just how busy our development staff is these days. No shortage of things to do for Susan and Jody right now. Continue to see development strong. I think we mentioned at your last meeting about 1,100 lots and some stage of development. That includes the Canaan land development requests that you all just considered. But I know it sometimes seems like things are a little slow in your meetings, but I promise you they are working fast and furiously behind the scenes. You see a lot of the development projects that have come forward. But Susan, Jody, and the rest of the leadership team have spent a lot of time getting those to a point that we're happy bringing them before you. So it is all good stuff there. We've got one more slide here that you can kind of see the inspections and what type of inspections were done over the month of February. But we'll find a way to get those to you in your packet from now on. This new reporting system has a little bit better functionality that you can kind of hover over each month, and it'll give you the actual numbers and some of that. We just haven't had a chance to get it in its final stages just yet, but we'll get it out to you soon.
Like it. Like it. Okay. Anybody got any questions or anything else? Alright, then that takes us to item I.
I move to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Does one of us have